All right, what's going on, y'all? Let us talk today about dividing, write this here, about dividing fractions. Now, just to review, if you multiply fractions, so say for example, you had something easy like two fractions here, 1/2 times 2/3. The numerator, denominator, numerator, denominator. When you multiply fractions, you just multiply it straight through. You multiply the numerator times the numerator. So let me do it like this. You'll multiply the numerator times the numerator, and then the denominator times the denominator. And that will give you your answer. So in this example, 1/2 times 2/3 would be 1 times 2 over 2 times 3, which gives you 2 over 6. Very easy, very straightforward. Now, and let me show you this real quick too, even though it's not what we're talking about. You could also simplify this at this stage. You could simplify this at this stage, recognizing that, okay, you have 1 times 2 and then 2 times 3 at the bottom. Remember, division, a fraction line is just like division. So you have this over this. You can actually, these will divide out, they'll cancel each other out. So the final answer would be 1/3. But anyhow, that's not what we're talking about today. Now we're talking about dividing fractions. So if you have a fraction divided by a fraction, so say you have a numerator and a denominator divided by another numerator and denominator, what you do is you actually change this to a multiplication problem. So basically what that becomes is when you divide fraction number 1 by fraction number 2, it's the same as, and let me do number 1 and then number 2 for both of these. It's the same thing as multiplying fraction number 1 times the reciprocal, which is another way of saying the flipped version of the second fraction. So the reciprocal of this is this fraction flipped, which is the denominator over the numerator. That's it. So again, when you have a fraction number 1 divided by fraction number 2, you change it to a multiplication problem where you multiply fraction number 1 by the reciprocal or the flipped version of fraction number 2. All right, let's look at this practically. Let's use those same fractions that we had there. So say you had, okay, let me erase all this stuff over here just so it's not confusing. All right. So say you had 1/2 divided by 2/3. So what you want to do is you want to change it to a multiplication problem. So it becomes 1/2 times the reciprocal of the second fraction, which is 3 over 2. Okay. And so then multiply that out. 1 times 3 gives you 3. 2 times 2 gives you 4. Therefore, Therefore, 1/2 divided by 2/3 is 3/4. Okay. Let's do it again. Let's say you had 3/4 divided by, I don't know, 2/4. So you're going to change that. That's going to be 3/4 times the reciprocal of the second fraction, which is 4 over 2. Okay. So that is going to give you 12 over 8. You can actually simplify that because you could have taken a 4, since there's a 4 up top and a 4 up bottom, those are canceled. So you could simplify, hold on. You could actually simplify that before you go any further. Just go ahead and cancel those out right there at that stage. So this becomes 3 halves. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and convert that to a mixed number. You ask yourself, how many times is 2 divided into 3? 3 divided by 2 is 1 whole with 1 left over, okay? But again, when you divide fractions, change this problem so it becomes multiplication where you multiply the first fraction by the reciprocal of the second fraction, okay? All right,